8:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The law relating to the registration of political parties will be revised to suit the present condition. 2 leading drug dealers of South Asian region were arrested by the Indian police. Popular media personnel Edwin Aridasa passes away at the age of 98. Health Minister says she is ready to upgrade Sri Javardhanapura Hospital according to the assessment report received today. 633 more COVID-19 recoveries reported in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka registered 346 new COVID-19 infections today. Sri Lanka approves emergency use of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. And in news overseas, Trump impeachment, Republican seeks delay till February. And in sports news, Matthews guides Sri Lanka to a safe total at the end of the first day's play. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the local news. The law relating to the registration of political parties will be revised to suit the present condition. The correct structure and procedure of this registration process will be gazetted in the near future. The Elections Commission has taken this decision to prevent any malpractice in this procedure. The Elections Commission met yesterday and discussed many matters relating to the subject. The Commission is also expected to release the symbols which are not used by other political parties so far. 2 leading drug dealers of South Asian region were arrested by the Indian police. These drug dealers were said to be the main culprits who brought large amount of drugs to Sri Lanka. These suspects were having a large network covering India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Iran. Heroin worth 100 million rupees have been captured from these suspects. Veteran journalist and popular media personality Kala Kirti Dr. Edwin Aridasa passed away at the age of 98. He was also a prominent film critic, environmentalist, teacher and retired, while he has been bestowed with over 300 awards during his lifetime. He also held top positions in various state institutions. Born on 3rd December 1922 in Unawatuna, Galle, Aridasa was an alumnus of Maida College and the University of Ceylon, where he obtained a degree in Sinhala and English languages. Teaching was his first profession, after which he entered the insurance field. Dr. Aryadasa worked for most of the newspapers published by Lake House, including the Daily News. He held the position of editor Navayugaya for some time. Later, he was instrumental in establishing the mass communication and media courses at local universities. In 1949, late Aryadasa joined the Lake House as a media journalist. He found his true calling in journalism, having joined Lake House in 1949. He had worked with Lake House founder D.R. Vijayawardena, who passed away in 1950. He was a pioneer to introduce media education to the country. He was also instrumental in designing the media degree courses at Colombo and the Open Universities. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
And we continue with more local news. The Ministry of Health says that another 633 patients who were previously tested positive for COVID-19 have recovered and were discharged from the hospitals within the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 48,617. Meanwhile, the number of new cases reported over the last 24 hours is 887, and 2 COVID-19 related deaths were also confirmed during this period. Sri Lanka registered 346 more positive cases of COVID-19 today, January 22nd, the Ministry of Health confirmed. As per statistics, the total number of COVID-19 infections confirmed so far in the country now stands at 56,422. Recoveries from the virus meanwhile climbed to 48,617 earlier today, as 633 more patients regained health. However, 7,529 active cases are still under medical care at selected hospitals and treatment centers across the island. Total lives claimed by the pandemic outbreak stands at 276 as at now. The National Medicines and Regulatory Authority RA has granted the approval to emergency use of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine for COVID-19 infections in Sri Lanka. State Minister of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals, Professor Channa Jayasumana said the decision was taken during the recent meeting held with NMRA. Accordingly, the authorities hope to roll out Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in Sri Lanka soon, the State Minister said further. This is the first time regulatory clearance was given in Sri Lanka to use a vaccine developed against COVID-19, he added. In April 2020, the Oxford University and AstraZeneca announced an agreement for the development and distribution of the university's potential recombinant adeno vaccine to prevent COVID-19 infections from SARS-CoV-2. As per the agreement, AstraZeneca is responsible for development, worldwide manufacturing and distribution of the vaccine. The vaccine has been developed by Jenner Institute and Oxford Vaccine Group from weakened version of a common cold virus known as adenovirus from chimpanzees. It contains genetic material of SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. After vaccination, the surface spike protein is produced. It primes the immune system to attack COVID-19 if the body later contracts the virus. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Law relating to the registration of political parties will be revised to suit the present condition. 2 leading drug dealers of South Asian region were arrested by the Indian police. Popular media personnel Edwin Aridasa passes away at the age of 98. Health Minister says she is ready to upgrade the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital according to the assessment report received today. 633 more COVID-19 recoveries reported in Sri Lanka as Sri Lanka registers 346 new COVID-19 infections today. Sri Lanka approves emergency use of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. And that was the local news.
Darling, our daughter has top O-level results. Do you know what this means?
Yes, just 3 years and she'll be going abroad for her degree.
For which we'll need a bank loan.
But is a normal loan the smartest option?
What else?
The smartest way is to start an HDFC Smart Goals account.
Let your child begin their degree with no delays. Start an HDFC Smart Goals account. Call 2356 888.
Honey, you're so smart.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, Health Minister Pavitra Vanniyarachchi says she is ready to upgrade the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital once the initial assessment report is received. The committee appointed for this purpose has submitted the report to the minister today at the ministry. The minister also said that effective measures will be taken according to the report. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And in Watchlight tonight, the commuters complain that they do not have enough and sufficient buses after 8 p.m. in the main cities, including Colombo. Especially, they don't get long-distance buses. This has caused immense difficulties to the commuters and passengers who stay far away from the city limits. This is for the attention of the Passenger Transport Authority. And that came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Trump impeachment. Republicans seek delay until February. Google threatens to withdraw search engine from Australia. Brazil, city on the Amazon River, buckles under second COVID wave. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. Republicans in the U.S. Senate are seeking Democrats to delay the start of former President Donald Trump's impeachment trial until February. They argue that this will give Mr. Trump time to prepare a defense. House of Representatives last week charged Mr. Trump with inciting a deadly riot in the U.S. Capitol, paving the way for said Senate trial. If convicted, he could be barred from future office. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer is reviewing the Republicans' request. Google has threatened to remove its search engine from Australia over the nation's attempt to make the tech giant share royalties with news publishers. Australia is introducing world's first law to make Google, Facebook and potentially other tech companies pay media outlets for their news content. But the US firms have fought back, warning the law would make them withdraw some of their services. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said lawmakers would not yield to threats. Brazilian scientists are working hard to understand the new variant that was found in the Amazon. At the same time, doctors in the rainforest's biggest city, Manaus, are struggling to control the rising number of deaths from COVID-19 and soaring cases as the country goes through a devastating second wave. Brazil has started vaccinating people, but with the collapsed health system in the Amazon, the light at the end of the tunnel feels very far and long away. To conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Trump impeachment, Republicans seek delay until February. Google threatens to withdraw search engine from Australia. Brazil's city on the Amazon River buckles under COVID-19 second wave. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, the Ranna Ayurvedic Medical Center will be upgraded to a fully fledged Ayurvedic hospital. A sum of 80 million rupees will be spent on this project. A two-storied building will be constructed for this purpose. The ground floor will be used for community health treatment activities. From the development news, we move on to sports news. And in cricket, Sri Lanka made a painstaking 229 for the loss of 4 wickets at the end of the first day's play of the second test played between Sri Lanka and England at the Galle International Stadium. Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bat first. Angelo Matthews was unbeaten on 107, which contributed a lot to the modest score. Many Sri Lankan cricket fans expect Angelo will guide Sri Lanka to a big score tomorrow. With that, we move on to business news. In its continued efforts of supporting the nation's fight against COVID-19 pandemic, Dialog Enterprise, the corporate solution arm of Dialog Axiata PLC, Sri Lanka's premier connectivity provider, is powering Video Meet, a video calling platform which enables enterprises to service their customers via a video consultation. Video Meet will provide users to self-initiate a video call via a link which they can forward to their customers, and on clicking the link, the customer will be able to virtually meet the services person, further eliminating the risk and necessity of physical meeting. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Business deals now easy. It just takes a few taps only. Anytime, get it done, all connected. Best discounts with real time. LOLC Real Time. Now download LOLC Finance Real Time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with zero cost and no benefits.
And in economic news, with the opening of the airports for tourists from yesterday, almost after 10 months due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Sri Lanka will target over 1.5 million arrivals for the year 2020, Chairperson of Sri Lanka Tourism, Kamali Fernandes, said. She said that Sri Lanka Tourism pulled out all the stops, ensuring that every precautionary measure has been set in place to make the island getaway as safe, secure and serene as possible for the visitors. The Ministry of Tourism and Sri Lanka Tourism has worked closely with the Ministry of Health and COVID-19 Task Force in setting the guidelines and putting the protocols in place. Also working closely with the Civil Aviation Authority, Airports and Aviation and Department of Immigration and Immigration, and with the industry stakeholders in adapting those protocols to ensure that Sri Lanka is open and open in the right way. That was economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says that showers will occur in the eastern and Nuwa provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Sabaragawa province and in the Kalathara, Gaul and Mathura districts in the evening. The public is kindly requested to get adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, central and Sabaragawa provinces during the morning hours too. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. And before we conclude this news bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The law related to the registration of the political parties will be revised to suit the present condition. 2 leading drug dealers of South Asian region were arrested by the Indian police. Popular media personnel Edwin Aryadasa passes away at the age of 98. Health Minister says she is ready to upgrade Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital according to the assessment report received today. 633 more COVID-19 recoveries reported in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka registers 346 new COVID-19 infections today. Sri Lanka approves emergency use of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. And in news overseas, Trump impeachment, Republicans seek delay until February. And finally on sports news, Matthews guides Sri Lanka to a safe total at the end of the first day's play. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news, and now it's back to your